Rodion Romanovich Raskolnikov is a former law student living in a small attic room in St. Petersburg. Having dropped out of university due to poverty, he has isolated himself from society and is on the verge of madness. He has been contemplating a plan for days. He is desperate because he has spent the money his landlady lent him and the last money his mother sent him. Raskolnikov plans to kill Alyona Ivanovna, an elderly pawnbroker. This is not just for money. He has a theory in his head. Humanity is divided into two groups, ordinary people and extraordinary people. Extraordinary people, like Napoleon, are above moral rules for the advancement of humanity and can shed blood if necessary. He wants to test whether he is one of them. He spends days preparing. He goes to the pawnbroker's house, devising his plan. One day, he goes to the woman's house with a fake item as collateral. When Alyona opens the door, Raskolnikov hits her on the head with an axe. The pawnbroker falls to the floor. Just then, the door opens and the pawnbroker's stepsister, Lizaveta, enters. Lizaveta is a kind-hearted, innocent woman. Raskolnikov panics and is forced to kill her too. While searching the house, he hears someone else coming, hides, and barely manages to escape. He hides the few valuable items he stole under a rock and returns home. After the murder, Raskolnikov falls ill with a fever. He lies in bed for days, delirious, while his old friend Razumikhin looks after him. Nastasia, the landlady's maid, also takes care of him. During this time, a summons arrives from the police station concerning his debt to the landlady. When he goes to the station and hears them talking about the murder, he faints. This behavior begins to arouse the police's suspicion. When he recovers from his illness, his mother Pulcheria Alexandrovna and his sister Dunya arrive in St. Petersburg. Dunya is engaged to Luzhin, a rich but immoral man. Luzhin considers himself superior because he took Dunya in when she was poor and helpless, and he tries to control her. Raskolnikov strongly opposes this marriage, not wanting his family to make such a sacrifice for him. During this period, Raskolnikov witnesses a man being injured when he is hit by a horse-drawn carriage in the street. He takes the injured man home. This man is Marmeladov. Marmeladov is an alcoholic former civil servant whose family is starving. At home, there is his wife, Katerina Ivanovna, and her 3 children from a previous marriage. Marmeladov dies shortly afterwards. Here, Raskolnikov meets Marmeladov's daughter, Sonia. Sonia is an 18-year-old girl who has been forced into prostitution to support her family. She is the owner of a yellow pass, an identity card that prostitutes are required to carry. Raskolnikov gives Marmeladov's family his last money. Inspector Porfiry Petrovich has read Raskolnikov's article, The Theory of Extraordinary Men, published in a magazine a few months earlier. Porfiry summons Raskolnikov for questioning, ostensibly because he has items pawned at a pawnshop. However, his real purpose is to psychologically test Raskolnikov. Porfiry is an extremely intelligent and manipulative inspector. He plays with Raskolnikov like a cat plays with a mouse. He does not accuse him directly, but in every conversation he plants seeds of doubt in Raskolnikov, irritates him, corners him. He discusses Raskolnikov's theory with him, asking indirectly, "So, do you consider yourself extraordinary?" Meanwhile, a mysterious man named Svidrigailov appears. Svidrigailov is the husband of Dunya's former employer and is in love with Dunya. Rumors suggest he was involved in his wife's suspicious death. He is known as someone with no moral boundaries, involved in all kinds of immorality. Svidrigailov has somehow learned Raskolnikov's secret and tries to use this information to get Dunya. Raskolnikov sinks deeper and deeper into despair. He sees blood everywhere, becomes paranoid, and avoids people. One day, he visits Sonia. In her small room, he asks her to read him the passage from the Bible about the resurrection of Lazarus. As Sonia reads, Raskolnikov is struck by her pure faith and infinite mercy. Sonia, too, has been forced to live a sinful life to support her family, but she has not lost her faith. On his next visit, Raskolnikov confesses his murders to Sonia. Sonia is horrified, but does not reject Raskolnikov. She tells him to go to the police and turn himself in. Go, right now, get up, go to the crossroads, kneel down, kiss the ground you kissed because you sinned against it too, and then kneel down in all directions and shout to the whole world, "I killed," she says. Raskolnikov is not yet ready for this. Porfiry summons Raskolnikov one last time and tells him almost explicitly that he is the murderer, but he has no proof. He tells Raskolnikov to turn himself in voluntarily, saying it could lessen his punishment. Raskolnikov refuses. Luzhin completely reveals his true colors while trying to control Dunya. He accuses Sonia of stealing money and plots against her. But Raskolnikov and Razumikhin expose the plan. Luzhin is disgraced, and the engagement is broken off. Svidrigailov tries to lure Dunya to his apartment, reveals Raskolnikov's secret to her, and in return blackmails her into being with him. Dunya draws a gun but cannot fire it. Svidrigailov lets her go. Realizing that Dunya could never love him, Svidrigailov commits suicide the next morning. Katerina Ivanovna dies of tuberculosis. She faints and dies while begging on the street with her children. Before his death, Svidrigailov left money to Sonia and set up a fund for the care of Marmeladov's children. Raskolnikov finally becomes unable to bear the burden within him. He remembers Sonia's words. Before turning himself into the police, he sees his mother. She tells him she has always been proud of him, and this breaks Raskolnikov. He goes to the square, as Sonia said, bends down, kisses the ground, and then goes to the police station to confess to the murder. He is sentenced to 8 years of hard labor in Siberia. Sonia follows him to Siberia, visiting him in prison every week. At first in Siberia, Raskolnikov is still proud, unrepentant. He sees his mistake as getting caught, not the murder. The other prisoners dislike him because he is an atheist, but they all love Sonia. Raskolnikov falls ill and has feverish dreams. The world has been invaded by a virus. Everyone thinks they are the smartest. No one can agree. There is chaos. After recovering from his illness, one evening, he sits with Sonia by the river. Suddenly, something changes within him. He takes Sonia's hand and cries. True remorse begins at this moment. He has now put his pride and theories aside and rediscovered humanity. Sonia's love and faith have saved him. The novel ends by telling us that Raskolnikov still has 7 years of his sentence left, but he has now begun a new life filled with love. His true story, the story of the rebirth of his soul, is just beginning.